Hi divers! The most obvious thing you're gonna need for your GUE fundamentals class is a diving cylinder and regulators. My name is Ben, I'm instructor for different GUE programs, and in this video I explain to you how you should configure your tanks and regulators for your GUE fundamentals class. This is a whole series on how to be best prepared for your GUE fundamentals class, where I talk about equipment you need to have, just like in this video, but also how you prepare the equipment or what you should practice in advance. So make sure to subscribe to my channel and don't miss new videos coming up. GUE is very often associated with equipment. That's partly coming from the standardization of equipment, which makes GUE divers having a certain look, at least on first sight. And sure, the equipment is the most obvious thing people recognize about GUE, and very often people think GUE requires students to buy certain brands of equipment. But is that true? Spoiler, it isn't. GUE just specifies properties of equipment, but not a particular brand. One thing you really need to know when it comes to equipment for a GUE fundamentals class is that the fundamentals class can be completed at two different levels, the recreational and the technical level. I neither want to outline the details about the rec and the tech certification in this video, nor the advantage of equipment standardization. If you're interested in this, leave a comment and I'll cover this in one of the next videos. I just explained this because I'm going to refer to the reg and the tech certification later, because the technical certification requires the use of certain pieces of equipment during the class. So let's first talk about the tanks. Many students come to me and ask if it was required to have double tanks for the class, or if it is required to have a certain size of the tank. The answer is it depends. Generally, you can do the class with any tank you like. Still, there are apparently optimal and less optimal solutions. It is required to have double tanks with an isolator manifold only if you aim for the technical certification. If you aim for the recreational certification, you can happily complete the class in a single tank configuration. The size of the tank should be appropriate. Think of dives between 45 and 90 minutes at a depth between 6 and 9 meters average. Very small tanks like the 7 liter and below will be definitely too small. When it comes to a single tank configuration, I would kindly ask you for at least a 10 or 12 liter mono tank. For most people, 10 liter tanks or short 12 liter tanks, which were quite popular in the late 90s, are just too short. If you're average sized, short tanks are going to have a very poor weight distribution along your spine, and it's impossible to sit, for instance, on the wall of a boat and getting the weight of the tanks off your shoulders because the tank is just not long enough. The tanks I would recommend for the class is the AL80 or the 12 liters in the long version. The same is the case when it comes to doubles. The smallest size I recommend is the double 12 liters. However, these are pretty short too. A way better option would be the double 8.5 liters, double AL80s or double 12 liters. If you prefer aluminum tanks or steel tanks, depends on your overall configuration. You should check back with your instructor, but as a general rule, I would recommend steel tanks if you're diving in cold water with a thick dry suit, whereas I prefer aluminum tanks in very warm water with thin wetsuits. The tanks should not have unnecessary things like nets around it, handles and stuff like that. And please, don't go for any crazy valve configuration. The valve you should aim for on a single tank is preferably a simple standard T-valve like this one with 2 outlets. By standards, it's allowed to have a single outlet valve, but to be honest, I don't like the idea of having just one first stage, and especially if you watch this because you take a class with me, there's a good chance that the course is in cold water anyway. So try to get one with a dual outlet. On a double tank, you should have a similar setting, just with a standard isolator between the tanks. You can use a double tank without an isolator manifold by standards, but then it's considered to be a single tank. So no technical certification then. It's important that the valves have rubber knobs like these. So please no knobs coming out of the rear or the top side, multiple outlet valves or any other crazy configuration. If you're not sure whether your manifold is suitable for the class, please contact your instructor first and check back. If you dive doubles, they should be connected to each other with steel bands like these. So please stay away from Bible kits, Velcro bands, plastic, whatevers, and stuff like that. We want to have a really good and stable connection between the tanks. I put links for suitable tanks in the description below. Now, let's talk about the regulators. The regulators should be generally high quality regulators, preferable in downstream design, and to be honest, no major brand makes low quality regulators, at least to my knowledge. The brand is not really important. What is important though is that it is configured like this. On a single tank, the first stage must supply the primary second stage via a 1.5 to 2 meters 10 or 5 foot to 7 foot long hose. The backup second stage must be necklaced with a piece of rubber rope and supplied with a short hose. I prefer to fix the necklace just like this with zip ties. However, there are other options which will most likely be discussed during the actual class. The first stage must also supply an analog pressure gauge. So please don't use any digital Wi-Fi connected dive computer thingies, just a simple pressure gauge without any console around that containing compass and stuff like that. So the backup second stage, as well on the right side, is connected to the first stage with a short hose. I'm going to talk about hose length in a second. The regulator should also provide inflation for the BC and the dry suit if you use one. On a double tank or a single tank with 2 first stages, it's pretty much the same. The primary first stage goes on the right side of the manifold. The inflator hose for the BC is connected to this first stage. The primary second stage goes here as well with a 1.50 m or 2 m long hose. The backup first stage sits on the left side of the manifold. The backup second stage, again necklaced, is connected to this side with a short hose. The analog pressure gauge goes on the left side too. Why we put it on the left side and why we don't have one on the right side is going to be discussed in the class. On this side as well is the gas supply for the dry suit if applicable, and if you don't use a dry suit inflation system. I know you guys are waiting for me to talk about the hose length. If you took some value from this video already, please leave a like and share this video to anyone who might find this valuable too. So how long are the hoses supposed to be? Is it mandatory to have a 2.10 m or a 7 foot hose? No, it's not mandatory, but advisable in my opinion. By standards, the long hose on the primary regulator can be 1.50 m for the fundamentals class, and if you use one of these, you can show up for the class with it. However, I really recommend to have a 2 m 10 or 7-foot hose. In my opinion, it's just more comfortable to use a longer hose while sharing gas, for instance. Plus, if you think of going into cave diving, you need to have a 2 m 10 hose anyway, so you want to practice the handling of the long hose ASAP. Even if you just stick to recreational diving for the rest of your life, I personally think the 2 m 10 hose is the better length. When it comes to the length of the backup regulator hose, it's important that the hose is long enough to breathe comfortably from the regulator. If it's too long, it gets in the way when you try to clip off things to your right D-ring, or it can even slide over your shoulder. Generally, a good length should be around 55 to 60 centimeters. If you use a first stage like this one that is a little bit longer, then this length should be fine. If for comparison you use a first stage like this one, you may need some additional centimeters in the hose. The same applies to the inflator hose. The length depends on the regulator. Your hose should be long enough to be connected comfortably to the inflator. But if it's too long, it bends away the inflator. As a general rule of thumb, I would go with a hose length of 60 centimeters here, but as I said, it depends on the regulators you use. The high pressure hose for the pressure gauge is for most people around 56 centimeters. It should be long enough to stretch all the way down to the hip D-ring, but if it's too long, it creates a loop on your side. That doesn't only look crappy, but it is also a trap that might get you entangled somewhere. The length of the dry suit inflator hose depends on the position of your dry suit inlet valve, the type of the regulator, as mentioned before, and your body circumference, and if you use a dry suit inflation system or not. On a dry suit inflation system like this, the hose is typically around 56 centimeters. If you inflate the dry suit with your back gas, it's usually around 60 to 70 centimeters. If this hose is too short, you can't connect it to the dry suit. If it's too long, it creates nasty traps again. Next topic, I like to talk about our rubber versus MyFlex hoses. By standards, MyFlex hoses are allowed, and as you can see here, I own some myself. However, I don't really like these hoses because they cause abrasion on the suit when wearing them as a long hose or as a backup regulator hose, and when doing astrals, they are often much harder to control. So I personally like rubber hoses more, but MyFlex hoses are not prohibited in any way. So you can show up for class with them, but please don't complain about them. In the end, I warned you. Some additional remarks. First, I put links to some tanks and regulators you can easily use on the fundamentals class in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Second, please don't use any pointless swivels and stuff like that on your regulators. It's just not necessary, so get rid of these. Third, from time to time, please check your mouthpieces. Check if they are broken somewhere, like you can see here. And please check if they are securely fixed to the regulator body. A mouthpiece that comes off during an astral underwater is really a pain and really a threat. So make sure they're in really good condition. One additional pro tip, check the zip ties on the mouthpiece for sharp edges. If I feel there are sharp edges, I always try to get rid of these with a sharp knife. I've seen divers cutting their lips really badly on these things, especially when they are a bit stressed during a drill. And I can tell you, this is nothing you're gonna like. If you prepare your rigs and tanks as described, you'll save a lot of time during the actual class. Sure, this represents only my personal view, and if you take the class with another instructor, he or she might see some details differently. But I'm pretty sure my recommendations will work for most instructors too. Still, if you have any doubts, if your tanks and regs are suitable, check back with your instructor. The next thing you have to do is to fix the bolt snaps for the pressure gauge and the primary regulator on the hoses in the exact right position. How you tie the bolt snaps to your hoses is covered in the next video. Make sure to subscribe and don't miss any upcoming videos. See you there.